Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 2 days webinar session with the Migration Center development team. And the topic today is Migration Center 22.1, what's new and what's next. First off, our mandatory slide of housekeeping. Please note that all attendees are muted during the complete webinar session. Should you have any questions, they may be entered into the questions box of your GoToWebinar panel, which should be per default on your right-hand side. Please also note that this webinar is being recorded, and once we have it processed, we will send it to you after the session. Now, before I hand over, please let me introduce our 2-day speakers. First up will be Vasile, responsible for product development at FME SRL. And after Vasile has been taking you into a round of the new features, enhancements, and other improvements of Migration Center 22.1, Cosmin, one of our most talented Migration Center consultants, will take over and will guide you through a live demonstration of the features, enhancements, and other improvements Vasile will have mentioned by that time. And without any further ado, I would like to hand over to our first speaker, Vasile. It's your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and welcome from my side to our webinar. To get into the Migration Center context, I will give you a few words. I will tell you a few words about the company. So the ones that don't know us very well, I mean, FME was founded 1995. We are now more than 280 employees, producing more than 29 million euro in terms of revenue. The headquarters is in Germany, but there are subsidiaries in Romania and United States. Besides developing products, we offer professional services in the fields of enterprise content management, business intelligence, cloud, social collaboration, and custom software development. ECM field remains one of the most important topic for us. So yeah, we have partnerships with most important providers like of these kind of platforms like OpenText, Microsoft, Viva, Generis, and yeah, hopefully I didn't forget one. All right, so regarding migration portfolio, Migration Center was designed from the beginning to focus on or to cover complex migrations projects. We believe that our customers can save up to 60% in cost and 80% in project duration by using Migration Center in their migration projects, and that was proved in many projects so far. Regarding the use cases, the ones of you that use Migration Center, yeah, you are familiar with that. So yeah, the most important one is migration. So Migration Center can be used to migrate data from legacy ECM system to their latest version, or from legacy solutions to new solution, or even from on-premises systems to cloud systems. It can be used to consolidate repositories, you know, for reducing probably the total cost of ownership for all systems, and it can be also used to extend existing platform by migrating data from other legacy or third-party products. Can be used to initial field ECM systems with data coming from file shares or other legacy application. An important topic that can be covered with Migration Center is archiving the data. We all know the volume of data is increasing dramatically every year. So yeah, all data have to be archived in archive systems. So yeah, you can use Migration Center for that. And also enhancing the existing platform by reorganizing folder structure, by enhancing the metadata is also possible with Migration Center. Some key figures and references, you probably know, it's 100 out-of-the-box solution. That means no additional programming or script effort is required. So far, Migration Center was used in more than 1,500 projects worldwide. We are 16 years plus on the market and provide a lot of possible migration paths. What's important from the business is that Migration Center can be used to migrate data without producing business downtime. We are certified by leading ECM vendors like OpenText, Microsoft, Viva, and yeah, well, we have global service presence in, as I mentioned before, Germany and whole Europe, United States and Romania, and we are very well positioned for supporting life science customers to migrate their data in regulated environments. All right, so let's see now, go a bit more in detail regarding Migration Center 22.1. By the way, you may ask why 22.1 and not 4.0 as it was announced some time ago. Well, we changed from semantic to calendar versioning because we are releasing new versions and updates periodically, 3-4 major releases per year. So this kind of versioning is more appropriate for us. So a summary or an overview of the release 22.1. I mean, the most important component is the new Migration Center web client that Cosmin will demo for you today. But there are also some other thing that should be mentioned. So we created a new database installer that doesn't require any Oracle client installation. We added support for Oracle 21c, but this is only on the web client. The desktop client does not support this version of Oracle. And in parallel, we removed the support for Oracle 10G because I believe no one is still using 10G now. And as we do in every regular release, we provided a lot of enhancements on several connectors. So you can see the release notes on our documentation site if you want to see all the details regarding the features. All right, so regarding the web client, it is our main topic for today. A short overview. Beside a modern UI and improved usability, the web client is designed to be more intuitive for new users. It focuses on the migration flow by having a vertical toolbar that is always on top, so the users can easily access the main phases of the migration. One of the web client main benefit is related to the simplification of the deployment. So the web client no longer requires Oracle client as a prerequisite because it uses JDBC to connect to the database. Therefore, the pain of installing Oracle client 32-bit was solved in this new version. It can from the deployment point of view, it can be deployed on a single machine and accessed from anywhere by using a secured protocol. So you can use your preferred client, Windows, Linux, or Mac OS to work with the web client. Regarding the solution, the architecture, I mean, before 3.17 or in 3.17 and before, I mean, we had those three major components. We had desktop client, we had the database component, and the job server. In 22.1, no change in the architecture happened, but in parallel with the desktop client, we provide the web client. The database, in terms of architecture, the database and job server remains the same. So the job server is a component that is running the source and target connectors. Starting with the next version, 22.2 and beyond, the desktop client will be retired, so we'll only provide the web client, which will be enhanced with new features. We will see that in a bit. Regarding the deployment, job server and database are pretty much the same, but the web client is now deployed as an application server, so you can access it through a browser. Currently, Chrome and Microsoft Edge is supported. So specifically to the web client deployment, it comes with an installation wizard that will deploy the customized Tomcat with everything, with all the components deployed inside. It is installed as a Windows server. It comes with a self-sign certificate for localhost, but this is not recognized by the browser as a trusted certificate. I mean, it is not possible to generate a trusted certificate for a local host, but you can add a trusted certificate generated by your preferred trust certificate authority, so you can add it in the web client to so you will not get any warning regarding the security. Let's go quickly through the list of the new features of the web client. So a nice one is multi-column mapping list. We know that mapping the source values to target values is one of the most used features during the migration. So to simplify the process of mapping and maintaining, especially maintaining the mapping, is we introduce the multi-column mapping list. So the user now can add up to 10 columns that will be mapped with a single key column. And in the transformation rules, you can choose what column you want to be returned. We introduced you can now copy paste transformation rules from a mixset to another mixset, only a selection of transformation rules. We introduced a functionality to split the mixset in multiple smaller mixsets that will be useful to scale the migration over multiple. To scale the import over multiple importers, exporting mapping lists and object types. It's also a new feature, so now you can easily move the mapping list and object types between different environments. This is especially useful for life science industry, where they typically have 2 or 3 environments. You can now search and filter data in most of the tables. We added the total object. We displayed the total number of objects per all runs of a scanner. Really new feature in 22.1 is analytics and insights capabilities. So we will continue to enhance this feature in the new versions. In this version, you can get the visual summary of your migration status based on, of course, on Migration Center data. So you can also see the object, the creation of the object distribution per years. I mean, per years and month. You can see how many objects have been created every year and every month. And we also introduced contextual help that hopefully will help new users to learn Migration Center faster. Besides these features, we also included a couple of enhancements in this version. So there are better handling of mixed configuration, like transformation and validation and a single step, association improvements, and now all mixed functionalities are a click distance. I mean, when you work on the mix, and you don't need to close on our form to go to the other. I mean, you have everything there. You can select multiple transformation rules to do actions on them. For the importer, we provide more information for the mix sets available to be imported, so you can select, or you can sort or filter them. You can easier run scanner and importers after creating the configuration. Multi-values and multi-value parameters and multi-line parameters are better are handled in a better way now in the scanner and importers. And yeah, quick search on value list, but you'll see that during the demo, so I don't insist on those enhancements. I just want to, before the demo, I just want to give you an overview about what's next on our roadmap. So we plan to release 22.2 by end of November this year. So this will come with couple of bug fixing and improvements in the web client, but also some maintenance and enhancements on the adapters. In general, we would like to release three major releases per year. We'll communicate the dates in advance. An important topic is supporting the Postgres SQL. We already addressed that one. This is really a big topic. So we expect that to be available in the first quarter of the next year. And well, in the next releases, we'll continue on the core functionality, basically new features on the web client. So we'll add the global search functionality, so you can easily search for your data, search target or error objects, or to search for scanners mixes based on different criteria. After that, we want to provide a way to test and debug transformation rules. We know that in some projects you have to deal with complex transformation rules. We want to include scanner mix sets and importer categories that will help you to categorize your data. We want to enhance the scheduler to provide more flexibility, for example, to start only a scanner, or to start transformation plus import, or only start importers, so you are not forced to start entire migration flow. Also, we want to provide a way to import and export configuration for all kind of configurations: scanner, mix sets, importer, mapping, types. So yeah, to move them from an environment to another. And last but not least, we have in mind to provide a visual way for editing the transformation rules, so you can drag and drop transformation functions and view the dependencies of the steps in a better way. And of course, we'll continue to provide maintenance and enhancements of the container of the connectors in every regular release. All right, so now it's time for live demo. So I'll hand over to Cosmin, that will show you the web client, the main features and enhancements in the web client, the ones that I mentioned in the slides. So, Cosmin.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, let me switch the screen share. Okay. Everyone should see the new web client right now. Hope screen sharing is working. So we'll take a look a bit at how the web client looks. Take a look at a bit of how you do the same things you already used to with the desktop client, and just another look at the new features and just general enhancements that Vasily already mentioned. So right off, you can see I am connected with Chrome. This is currently it's installed on my laptop on localhost, but this can be accessed from anywhere in the network. And the first thing we're seeing is the login screen. And first time when you'll install this, you'll need to specify, you won't have a connection here, you'll need to specify where exactly you need to connect. So because we are no longer using Oracle client to do the connections, we have a dedicated connections screen. And here you can just add a connection and specify the host, port, and service name to connect to your Oracle database. I have already specified this and I can select it. So let's connect to this database. Okay, this is the new Migration Center web client. You can see the vertical bar here. The main sections are still the same. So you start with the jobs section, scanners, migration sets, importers. Then you have the scheduler. This is the new analytics dashboard. And then all of the configurations are done in the configure section. And we will take a look at those. In the jobs view, of course, there are no running jobs currently on my database, but the interface will be the same. We also added in most, if not all, main tables. Now, I think in all main tables we have the job type, the filters here, where you can filter based on the columns. You can select any value. The scanner screen, still nothing majorly changed in how the scanner screen looks and feels. We now have this toolbar. So you have your regular actions for creating new scanners, editing the scanner, duplication, and deletion. And then you can access the scan run history and source objects from here. Of course, a refresh and a start scan job button. So let's take a look at how you would create a new scanner. You can see the whole view has changed to this unnamed scanner. So this will be my new scanner. Let's say it's Documentum. And you can select here Documentum. And here are your parameters, just like you're used to. And then you can select the job server location where you want the scanner to run. Of course, you can complete the parameters. You'll notice that when you click on the different parameters, there is the same description of what each parameter does here. And this should be pretty much the same. Another enhancement that we did is for attributes, or for parameters that support this multiple values. If you click in the list, we made it easier to actually edit. So you can just view the list and edit it in a new line kind of way, and then it will be saved properly. Yeah, I think this is a good point as ever to mention the contextual help. So you have this help button here, and if you click on it, it will open a link to our WebClient user guide document online on our online documentation, and it will take you directly to the section in the documentation corresponding to where you clicked in the WebClient. So that's where the contextual part are. If I would go to the mixsets view and click on help, it will open to the mixed section, and of course it will open to the individual. If you're in the properties or transformation, it will go to those sections directly. So that is the new contextual help. Regarding the scanners, we can see here that if you go to the history, so the scan runs, it's actually the same big menu, so everything's in the same place. And you have tabs where you can switch. So you're selected on this scanner, you can view the scan runs. Of course, download the logs, and you can view individual source objects. And this will take you to the source objects of that particular scan. And this is the new view you can use to scroll. Yeah, the functionality is basically the same for this. We also have the filters here. Yeah, everything that you expect from these screens are the same. And if you want to see the whole view, you can just access the source objects tab directly, and this will show you all of the objects of all scan runs. So this should make it more convenient to show all, to make it easier to manage a scanner or a mixed, because we have continued this trend throughout the whole UI. So moving on to the migration sets, again, the main table view is pretty much the same. We have the toolbar here where you can either edit the mixed and access its properties, or go to the rules section. And if we double click or click on edit, this is the new migration sets view. So currently I have selected a particular migration set, and we have multiple sets of tabs. So we have our main tabs here, the properties, the transformation view, and then 3 tabs for the objects. And then under each tab we have different sections. So for the properties, we have the details of the name, the type of the migration set, and the scan run selection. So if we go, let's say, to this file system one, we should have at least one scan run to select here. You also have the same exclusion filters as well as the advanced filters. You also have an object preview. So if you have something selected and click on object preview, it will show you how many objects you will select after applying your filters and so on. And what is now consolidated in the same UI is you can go to the transformations primary tab here, and this will be your rules, transformation rules main section with the regular transformation rules, system rules here, mixed mapping list, and associations, all in the same place. And you will see you can change an object's name or description, work on transformation rules, take a look at the source, target, and error objects, all in the same place without having to leave this particular mixset. We also added some buttons for resetting and transforming the objects. So it's the same confirmation. You can either reset imported objects or not. You still have the generate functions, the export, import. So everything is in one place. Now, regarding some of the specific features that we have here, so if I'm looking through the list, one of the main features is the copy transformation rules. So we all know that you can duplicate a transformation rule within a mix set, but now you can also, so let's say if you have a function here inserted, let's say maybe a user value, and in this other one we put an if with no value. So now I have two rules, and I would like these rules to be copied to a different mix set. Now you can select these using either shift click or control click, and you can see now both are selected. And I can click on copy and save this and go back to the mix sets view. And now going to a different mix set, I'll have a paste rules from clipboard button, which will paste the rules with each step that they had in a new mix set. So this should make it much easier to copy. You know, if you want only specific rules from your one mix set to be copied to another, this is a good feature. Another thing that maybe, so you can multiple select rules now, which is needed for copying. Otherwise, the functionality is pretty much the same. Let's see, what other features do we have for mix sets? We no longer have in the associations tab. Let's maybe take a look at a specific example. So I have some transformation rules here. All mix sets will now have either their default target type system rule, which is our object type for Documentum, or if they did not have a default one, they now have one called target type. And all mix sets basically are now automatically associated. If you work with Migration Center before, you know you had, besides the object type selection that you see here, you also had the select type from rule drop down, and you had to specify from which rule. So this is done automatically. Each mix set knows how to use this specific rule if you want to, and you can just select your object types and associate your transformation rules directly without having to worry about that. So that's a small quality of life improvement. What else? Let me quickly take a look at. Maybe this is a good time to talk about the mapping lists. So we can take a look in the mixed mapping list now, but the interface here is the same in the main global mapping list. So you can have multi-column mapping lists now, and we'll have to save this first, just to to make it clear. So besides the regular functionality of importing values from a CSV file or copy pasting them from an Excel, you can now export them directly from Migration Center, which is useful. This is for all mapping lists, and for the multi-value mapping list, you basically have the same. The key column remains the same, but you can add multiple multiple value columns. And if we want to import, let's say, from a file, let's just do a, not sure if you're seeing this, but let's import this file. This is also a newly improved import feature. You see 20 rows imported, and now you can see we have a single column, a key column list, and multiple columns of values. So we can now use this. We can also give proper names. So you can have the first value column is name, then it's last name, yeah, and so on. You can leave them like this if you want. And you can use the multiple column mapping list using the new multi-column map value function. And this works just the same. So let's say we take, actually, I think I already prepared this with a global mapping list. Let's see if it's this one. Or this one. No. Anyway, we can just make, oh, this one. Yes. Okay, so I've just prepared here. So you have the multi-column map value. You are selecting which column, which attribute or which value is going to match the key column. And then what's additional from the regular list, the regular function, is you specify which of the value columns you want it returned. So here we're using the same mapping list, multi-test 1, the same source value, but for one we're returning the name, and for the other we're returning the value 5. And if we look in the target objects for this multi-column value, you can see it first returned the name, and then for the second value it returned the value from the different column. So this should be very helpful because we know in a lot of migration projects and a lot of clients use mapping lists for validation. So this should be very helpful, a new multi-column mapping function. Another minor, let's say, quality of life improvement. This is also a common scenario that a lot of our service team and customers do, is they have a very big mixset and they would like to split it into multiple mixsets so they can run it on different importers in parallel. We have added this functionality directly in the client. So I have this mixset here with multiple some documents in it. And I can just say split this in 3. And this will create 2 more mixsets with the same rules and automatically split the objects equally between them as equal as possible. So now you can take these and assign them to separate importers and import them. So a minor improvement on the feature. Of course, we have the filters here. So if I want just a specific mixset type, or maybe the names have prefixes in them, depending on how you organize them, you can quickly organize it here. We also have this for the mapping list. You can filter the values inside the mapping list based on column, on values, depending on what you want. So we basically inserted filters pretty much everywhere where it made sense. Okay, another feature, or let's say improvement in the flow of how we work with Migration Center, is we no longer have the transform and validate as separate actions to perform. They are still being performed in the background by the database currently, but you apply transformation. And when you apply transformation, so like I have here 16 objects, I apply transformation and they will go through the transformed and validated states automatically, because yeah, this seems to make more sense for the flow of a regular migration. and we'll see if we need improvements or changes to this in the future. Yeah, I think so far I've covered pretty much all the improvements, the new features. Oh, there's another one that maybe not as irrelevant to many people, but in the old desktop client, you had a restriction on creating job servers. You specified only the location of the job server and the port, and you could not have multiple entries with the same location in Migration Center. So now we have expanded on this. So now you also have a name for each job server. So now you can see I have one job server running on my laptop on a port, another one on a different port in the same place, and I can have different names for them. So that's, you can now easily have and manage multiple job servers on the same machine if you need to while doing so. We have added on the object types, we have added import, and I mean we already had the import, but we also added export on the object types and also on the mapping list. So now you can just take an object type and download it as a CSV file. Yeah, and we have the new dashboard system with analytics. So currently we have two types of reports. A migration status, which shows the state of all the objects currently. So how many are unprocessed, how are imported, how many are in progress, and so on. And you can change this to different views. And a different report is object distribution, which you can do globally or select a specific source type or a specific scanner, or it will show you some graphs on what the creation dates or of the objects are and how they distribute throughout the years and so on and months. This is just the beginning of this dashboard, the new dashboard feature. We will have more reports coming, and we are working on trying to see how to make more custom reports or see what will make sense for our customers. I think I have covered most of the web client. Vasile, let me know if there's anything else I should show. And if not, I think Vasile or Mark will take the presentation back and we'll have time for some Q&A. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine, Cosmin. Thanks. So we have some time left in case there are some questions. So let me share again my screen. All right. So Mark, if you want to say something.
Yeah, so thanks to the both of you, Vasile and Cosmin, for an awesome presentation. And before we head on to the final part, the Q&A session, let me quickly announce a few things. First of all, for the ones who don't know yet, we offer a dedicated website for Migration Center, which is migration-center.com. And on there, you find all the details, many things we just mentioned, screenshots of the new web client and everything regarding our individual target platforms you might want to know. And if it's not on there, you can always reach out to us through that website, through our web forms, and we'll make sure to get in contact with you as soon as possible. We're also present on social media, respectively LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Migration Center and you will find our channels or our pages. And since October is approaching, October is our trade show month. We will be attending various events. As you can see here, we will take part in OpenText World, Highland Summit, and Viva R&D and Quality Summit in October. So if any of you will be participating in one of the events as well, please come by our booth and say hello. We are looking forward to that. And on a little side note, we have just released another commercial product at FME, which is called DQman and is a administration software for OpenText Documentum. So if that is something of interest for you, just take a look at our website, which is dqman.com, to to see more. So that's it from my side. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody, and take care.
Okay, thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.